Hey gamers, welcome to the Part-Time Gamers Club, where we game part-time but support gaming all the time. For those of you tuning back in, make sure to drop a like and subscribe. And if it's your first time here, welcome to the crew. I'm Gio, alongside me is Gerard and Mike. And on today's episode, we're going to be discussing Monster Hunter Wilds. Let's get to it.
Monster Hunter Wilds is a sequel to the Monster Hunter World. So we're going to be talking about today release date, the trailer itself, and any pre-existing in the beta impressions, that we had. But starting with our thoughts on the release trailer, very recent, came out. What are you guys' thoughts on it? Just seeing it, just first impressions. What do you got? Gio, tell me what you think.
Actually, it got me excited. Honestly, I wasn't aware they were working on another Monster Hunter, believe it or not. I know you mentioned to us that they have been. So it's kind of news to me. So when I saw the trailer and I saw the hype, I was like, cool. I was like, all right, let me check this out. And then watching it, I was like, oh yeah, I'm ready to play this. I'm ready to play this again. Because I don't know, like I think Monster Hunter World took a little long with the DLC, and that's kind of why I didn't stay playing it longer. But I loved the original. So I'm excited for this.
Well, I'm not as excited as Gio. I think it's just for me. I'll probably play it because I played, Monster Hunter New World. I did enjoy it. I guess I just didn't really fully got into it and start playing to its full potential. But from the looks of it, it looks similar. Maybe the playstyle will be different, but it's just new monsters, so new abilities probably. But it just seemed like a similar game style play. I would have to play to see it, or actually look into it and look at if there's similar play style. But I'm not as excited, but I will probably still try it. That makes sense.
It does. Yeah, and as Gio said, they've been working on this game for a while. I believe it was I don't know if it was Summerfest or the last E3 that they released the first trailer for the game. It's been a long time since we've gotten some news. We've officially have the release date, and they put out, I would say, a beta for some YouTubers and streamers for them to play, and received high amounts of praise for what they put out. But it looks like, and for what you two said, like, you think it looks very similar to the last game and everything like that. But did you guys play Rise? Monster Hunter Rise?
No, I didn't. I honestly I didn't even know about that one, to be honest. Maybe because it didn't get the same kind of hype as Worlds.
Yeah.
Honestly, you're the one that got me into Worlds. Like honestly, I didn't really play Monster Hunter games until you got me into.
Yeah, because the kind of thing like Monster Hunter World, and I forgive me if I'm misremembering, but I think Monster Hunter Worlds was the first console game. Rise was also on the Switch. It wasn't on console though, or on at all.
The other console.
Yes.
Yep.
So this is also going to be another console game. Also going to be on Steam. But I do think the main hype and this main wave is these consoles. So maybe from now on they'll do a release pattern of console, handheld, which would be the Switch, back to console, and just have that cadence, which would be good because you split off the development teams, and I don't want to say there's different technical differences, but there's definitely that one of them is going to be more for a handheld experience and the other one's going to be more for a sit-down experience. But that does bring up the question I have is, you guys don't see the difference, but there is a difference in gameplay, and this is being shown in the beta and things like that, where they have a Rise element that they've added to this, and it wasn't in Worlds, where you are now able to use your grappling hook anywhere in the world, even against monsters, and use that into your combos. Now, neither of you guys played Rise, you don't know the mechanics behind it and everything like that, but this is going to be new for a console experience. So what are your thoughts on any new mechanics you're looking forward to, because I do think we've played it. I know Gio mentioned he loved it, but like what did you not like about Worlds and hoping that they change in Wilds?
I actually didn't like. I mean, I actually liked the combat, and
Mhm.
with I'm always gonna like any added new mechanics of where you can do more stuff. I think that's always just a bonus, a plus, because you don't want to keep doing. Because I've seen the trailer where you could just like use the shield to block, and then it's just from what I've seen. So from what's different than when I played it. So any new mechanic of what you can do will always be a plus to the experience that you're gonna enjoy playing at the game. Because if they kept just the same thing, then you know what's the only new thing would just be the different monsters or the stuff. So
Mhm.
I do like the added mechanics.
I think for me, one of the only thing I really didn't like about Monster Hunter World was just like I said earlier. I just think it took too long for the DLC, the end game content. 'Cause it was like a year after when we finally got DLC, and I know it's tough with that kind of game per se, and it just felt like it took so long. So like if you're gonna have that kind of delay in between a DLC, you got to have really strong in-game content. And I just wasn't drawn enough to try to grind for some of that armor gear sets like that. You know what I mean? So I got the one gear set that I really wanted, and then I was kind of like, "Mm, all right, this is just kind of like now I'm bored because it's just repeat, rinse and repeat. You know what I mean? So I was like, I needed something else. I needed somewhere else to explore, more gear sets to gather, more new monsters to battle. Because I think even I don't. You're right. You know what? It wasn't the whole year. I think the whole year was the full expansion because they gave us like 3 or 4 different monsters to fight. Like after like a few months of the game.
They gave us events, as what they did.
Yeah. So like that wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. Like so, like I hope they have something already planned and have been working. I know that sounds crazy, but they've already been working on the DLC as they're getting closer to the game getting released. You know what I mean?
Mhm. And I mean, like, you guys don't know, like the DLC Iceborne came out. I
Yeah.
think it was like a year. Yeah, it was like a year afterwards. But they did have events that came out, like
Hmm.
prior to that and things like that. And I'm assuming it's going to be the same pattern because Capcom, the developers of Monster Hunter, they work quality over quantity, so they will take their time to make sure they put out a finished product.
Mm.
But I also think they put a small, I don't want to say a small team, but they definitely don't have everyone working on Monster Hunter. So the idea is they're going to put out Wilds and maybe all DLC.
Hmm.
But do you hope that they still continue support for Wilds? Like an additional DLC, or maybe more events, or maybe not put out, because Monster Hunter Rise came out, I swear, like I think 2 years after Monster Hunter World, maybe not even. It was very soon after, uh, and I believe that's the reason why Iceborne was the only DLC for Monster Hunter. Do you think one DLC is enough to support a game, or should there be more DLCs or more support in some way for those kind of games, specifically like Monster Hunter?
I was gonna say right because if the story is something that seems like it requires a sequel in a sense, like then I guess one DLC buys you time to focus on making the next one. Uh, but I feel like Monster Hunter World, I feel like you can turn that into almost an MMO strategy kind of deal, like where you can do continuations through DLCs and you can keep the game going if they're willing to support the game, like you said, for years to come. I feel like they can pull that off with Monster Hunter. I feel like it has that element that they can do that with. Now, will they? I don't know. I don't know if Capcom wants to be required to be have one team just dedicated to that for the next several years, especially after the time it took to develop the game. That's up to them. But I feel like they can. I feel like Monster Hunter Worlds is one of those games not an, but it's kind of styled like an MMO in a sense. So I feel like they can do it.
I could see the potential
Mm-hmm.
of them doing it if they were to go that route, but I don't think we will know. Maybe the outcome of this game can maybe influence the decision. Probably not. I don't know.
I think my question would be to Gerard: do you think they have a strong enough fan base yet?
They have 100% a strong enough fan base. The question is, will they fan base like what that Monster Hunter would be? Because then we're talking about it being more of a live service game.
Correct.
And there's already a large negative feeling towards live service games in this day and age, especially with like majority of AAA publishers, Activision, EA, I can even go as far as to say Epic, putting out their games as live service with the intention of keeping them on forever. And at a certain point, there's way too many of these games out now. There's way too many games that demand basically all of my time to play them continuously. And that is too much for a gamer to have. And when you put another one in, like Monster Hunter, instead of like, oh, now I have another game that I need to keep up, either I drop another game or I just don't play this one. And that's what happens. So I don't know if Capcom would like to make a live service game, but it really depends on the fan base whether or not they would play a live service version of Monster Hunter. And if you ask me, they would need to do like a lot to make it consistent, because live service games tend to have battle passes and things that you grind towards so you're not bored until the next release. And Monster Hunter, like the very first like the story takes a long time, maybe 20 to 30 hours, but once you're done with that, everything from there is just cosmetics and just completionism. So you have to figure out how to keep a gamer entwined and enthralled in Monster Hunter for a much longer period than they usually do for the Monster Hunter game. So
I think that's why I said I guess it all depends how they approach just if they make the story where there's like a solid kind of like story ending that it just doesn't make sense to like try to continue it. It's probably better to just start off with another game, something like that. Then, that makes sense. I mean, if they've been successful with this route and this approach, I think they're just going to stay with it. It's kind of, what they've done anyway. I don't think they expect their player base to be looking for a live service game from them. But if you ask me, do I feel like Monster Hunter World can be like one of those games? I do. I think it's like Mike said, the potential is there. The setup is there to make Monster Hunter a live service game. And I think it could be very successful because, like I said, it has those elements of MMO that would keep players going. And I feel like you can continue to expand the world, how they make their end game content. I think they could do a lot with it. Will they? That's completely up to them. And like you said, I think that would require a bigger team. How much people they're willing to put towards it. Then they would have to invest more money into it. It just really depends because then they're taking a chance,
So the game comes out February 28th, 2025. It's official release date. That is same time as other games. Funny enough, Assassin's Creed Shadows got delayed back to February. In 2025, we're getting Ghosts of Yotei as well. We're having a large amount of games coming out in this Q1 format. The question is, will Monster Hunter do well against these other games? Because right now we're like in the midst of just like this holiday season being, for lack of a better word, a banger. Because we're getting Call of Duty Black Ops 6. That's already one game that is coming out. Actually, if I remember correctly, and I may be wrong on this, so I'm going to double check myself. But I am pretty sure a new Battlefield game is supposed to also be.
I think I heard something about that too. I think it's for next year though. I don't think it's for this year.
I'm double checking just to make sure. But yeah, there is a lot of things coming out this season, and we are I can't remember all of them.
Well,
But
Space Marine just came out. That was technically part of this third, fourth quarter time.
third quarter. But yeah, are you guys gonna pick it up? That's basically what this is leading to.
Monster Hunter?
Yes, Wild.
Oh, absolutely. Not even, without hesitation.
Are you
Not
gonna
even think
pre-order
twice.
it, or are you gonna buy day of?
I will. I guess the pre-order dependent. Like or if it's a digital pre-order, unless they give me like early access, like I can start playing it earlier than the original release date. Sure, I might get it. But I don't know. It depends what it comes with. Honestly, sometimes I'm like, is it really worth it?
I mean, a pre-order, in my opinion, is just me buying the game earlier. Cause unless there are some times where the pre-order, if the pre-order is more expensive, then I might I'm not gonna do that. But if the pre-order is gonna be the exact same price as release date, and it comes with extra bonuses, I'm just like, I know I'm already gonna buy the game. I might as well just pre-order it anyway, get the extra stuff, and just play it when I can.
That's what I mean. Like if it comes with the benefit of playing early, like a few days early, fine, cool. I'll try it. I'll do it. Then I think it also depends on the deluxe edition.
Yeah.
And then Jill will just let me know, and then I'll decide off it.
Savage.
Bro.
I will probably play it just because I always like Monster Hunter. I like the visual of it. It's always visual, the graphic wise. If my computer can handle it, we'll see. But
yeah, it can. I looked at the specs. It's really not that bad. I thought it was worse than it was.
Okay. I'm always gonna play. I always dabble it. Is it gonna keep me? And that's just to be determined.
We will never know until we get there.
Well, the good thing I like about Monster Hunter, the games, that co-op system is fun. It really is.
Yeah.
And I think part of the reason why, because you came towards the tail end of me playing that game, you started late. I think if you started when me and Gerard started in release day, you probably would have been more invested in the game than you were, because like Gerard had probably already stopped playing by the time you really started playing with me.
Yeah, because I was done. I had everything. I grinded it. I grinded hard on that.
We were playing hard in the beginning, like all day long kind of deal on days off.
And I had more days off. So
yeah.
But yeah. So anyone has any final questions, concerns, or anything they want to bring up?
Nah, man. I just hope Capcom stays true to their Monster Hunter world.
I mean, it looks like it. The Capcom is not one to drop the ball usually that hard. So that's it from us, gamers. Make sure you leave down a comment down below on your thoughts of Monster Hunter Wilds and whether or not you're picking it up. And more importantly, did you play Rise? Like, the amount of people I hear playing Rise is a very small amount. I'm pretty sure they exist, but they got to be out there. All right, that's it from us, gamers. We'll see you next time. Peace.
Later.
Thank you for watching this episode of the Part-Time Gamers podcast. Be sure to like the video and subscribe to our channel for more content like this. And follow us on our other social platforms on TikTok, Instagram, and Discord. Links for those will be provided in the description. Thank you again. We will see you on the next episode of the podcast. And make sure you make some time for video games. Peace.